I'm back. All right, so I absolutely did not intend to take almost a 2-month break from posting videos here on YouTube, but that is what happened. So today I have a lot to catch you up on. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing I think to discuss is like this summer, I would say like around July, August timeframe, I had hit a wall in terms of my capacity and what I was doing, not just at work, but here on YouTube and life in general. And I started to really think about the things in my life that I was dreading, because I firmly believe that if you are dreading doing something, you should try to change your life so you don't have to do that thing. And for me, that thing that I was dreading all the time was doing sponsored videos here on YouTube. Okay, so I have been doing sponsored videos on my channel for many years now, and it has been an incredible financial opportunity for me. However, I just got to the point where like the deadlines were way too much, and I just, for whatever reason, I just dreaded doing it. And so I sat down and I thought, like, is it filming the YouTube videos that I'm dreading, or is it like doing the sponsored segments that I'm dreading? And yes, it was indeed that. And then I was reading something online, I don't know if it was on Instagram or where it was, but I saw this quote and it said, if my family's financial needs are covered, the first thing I'll leave on the table is money. And at that point in time, that really resonated with me, right? Because my family's financial needs are covered. I have a job. My husband has a job. And so I thought, why am I doing this? I want to go in a different direction. And so what I did was I canceled all of my sponsorships through the end of the year, every single one. It was like $25,000 in sponsorships that I had scheduled through the end of the year. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna leave the money on the table because I just can't do it anymore. And honestly, I felt very at peace with doing that, right? Then what happened was a week or two later, our dog Murphy, who was 10 years old, he was having a routine surgery. He was a yellow lab, and labs sometimes get these fatty growths on them that are benign. And he's had them before, and he's actually had surgery to remove several of them before. This was several years ago. And so he had this one on his shoulder that was like, that had grown kind of really large, and it was at this point like impeding his mobility. And so I had taken him to the vet, and they said, obviously it's up to you if you want to remove it or not, but it is impacting the way he can walk and get around. And they said, if you want to remove it, like now would be the time before it gets any bigger. So we decided to do that. I took him in for surgery. A couple hours later, I got a call from the vet that he had passed away during surgery. It was extremely shocking, obviously very unexpected. You don't really expect to take your healthy dog into the vet for a routine surgery and then get a call that they died during surgery. He did have cardiac arrest, and they attempted to resuscitate him, but were not able to. I obviously don't blame the vet at all. This is a vet that we've been taking our dogs to for many years. They are very good, very caring. I always trust them to do the right thing. I think that probably what happened is he was getting older, right? Like sometimes they say like the lifespan of labs are like 12 years, and he was 10 and a half. And so my suspicion is probably that he had some type of pre-existing heart condition. And so yeah, that was super rough. It was actually a very rough week that week because Adam happened to be out of town that week for work. So he wasn't here. And I had to call him and tell him while he was on a work trip that Murphy passed away. It was just awful. And then the kids like came home from school, and of course they were expecting for Murphy to be home by then. And I had to tell them that he died during surgery, and it was just, I don't know. It was just awful. Like, I don't think obviously losing a pet is bad anytime that happens. The dog that we had previously, we had made the decision, you know, to put him down at some point. And I think that was almost a little bit easier because I feel like we could prepare for it mentally, but this was very abrupt and unexpected, and it was just really hard to deal with. So, you know, we've had Murphy since Kira was 5 and Connor was 2 years old. And so, you know, really this is their childhood dog that they've grown up with. So yeah, it's been really tough, but Milo has been, I guess he was, like, I would say for the first 2 or 3 weeks after Murphy passed, he was very, like, visibly confused, depressed, whatever you want to call it, in like dog behavior. And so I have been taking him to daycare, usually 2 or 3 days out of the week, so that he can get socialization with other dogs, because he's never been by himself before. We adopted him as a rescue, and he had, you know, grown up for 3 years as a puppy with Murphy. So, you know, we probably are going to get another dog at some point, because I do like having 2 dogs. I think that they can, you know, have companionship together and play together and stuff like that. It's just, it's kind of hard, like, especially with me, you know, traveling for work. We really have to kind of pick a time where one of us can be home, obviously, if the dog needs to be potty trained or things like that. So I don't know. I've thought about different things, like, could we adopt an adult dog that was already potty trained? I don't know. It's been very recent. We haven't really looked into it yet, but I'm sure we will be getting another dog at some point. After that, Adam and I had already had an anniversary trip planned. This year we've been married for 19 years, and we always try to go on a trip for our anniversary. So this was like end of September, beginning of October. We spent a week away. We went to Kansas City. First, we flew there and went to a Chiefs game, which was super fun, and they actually won. So that was good. And then we flew from Kansas City to Seattle, and then we stayed out in Seattle for 4 or 5 days, which was a super fun trip. We did all of the touristy things. Obviously, went to Pike Place Market, went to the Space Needle, all that stuff, ate some really good food, but really it was just like a nice chance to disconnect from everything, disconnect from work, disconnect from life, and just spend some time together. So that was super fun. But then we got home, and like a week later, my daughter Kira, who is 16, she just got her driver's license this year, actually a couple months ago, and we got her a car, and she got into a car accident. This was actually just like maybe like a week and a half ago. She got into a really bad car accident, and her car is totaled. Thankfully she was okay. She did not have any injuries, except she had like bruising from the seatbelt and stuff like that, but it was a bad accident, and we are obviously very thankful that she is okay. So that has been a debacle. So I guess long story short, it has been a trying couple of months. It's been a trying couple of months here in our house, but I feel like things are on the upswing. I'm just ready to get back to making videos, just for the love of making videos. One of the things I think that was like the catalyst in, or maybe the straw that broke the camel's back in me, like canceling all my sponsorships, was when this brand came back and said, yeah, we'd really like you to make a video and put our brand in it, but we want it to be a video about weight loss. So could you please make a video about your weight loss and put this video in it? And I'm just like, you know, no. At first I said yes, and then I thought, why am I doing this? Like, why am I letting these brands like dictate what kind of content I put out there? It's just, I don't know. I mean, one of the things I think is like brand deals are an incredible like financial opportunity, right? And I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for the financial opportunities that I've had because of YouTube and doing sponsorships and all of those things. One of my goals, once I started making money on YouTube, was to fully fund my kids' college education, which I've been able to do that, which is awesome, right? Like, I feel super blessed to have been able to do that and to be able to, you know, pay for their schooling. That's something that's really important to me. But I also, I just think that once you dread doing something and you're totally miserable doing it, you need to find something else, right? It's like any job, any career, you know, throughout all of my years in the workforce, there have been different times where I've had to look for different jobs, take a different position, do different things because you're just burnt out on that thing, right? So anyway, that's kind of my update for today. I do have several videos that I'm working on editing. One, which I think will be super useful, is how to feed your kids breakfast and lunches for the whole week. Breakfast and school lunches for the whole week for around $30. So I'm editing that right now, and that will probably go up either tomorrow or the following day. I also have a meal prep video filmed, and then I feel like there was one more. Oh yeah, I have a $20 emergency budget dinner video that I need to edit also. So I'm gonna get going on that, but I guess I am gonna be, I don't know, I'm just gonna post videos that I want to make. And I'm really looking forward to that. I have been making videos since 2017, 2018, so what, like 7 or 8 years now, and I really do kind of just miss the day. Like, I yearn for the days when I just made the videos that I wanted to make, and I didn't have to worry about how many views they got, whether or not the brand liked it, how many conversions I got, so on and so on and so forth. That's another thing too that like a lot of these sponsors are doing, is they'll have like view guarantees, which makes it really difficult because the algorithm on YouTube is just so different than what it used to be. You know, there are some channels that still get really consistent views with every upload, but a lot, I don't know, like it varies a lot on my channel. Like I can post a video and get like 20,000 views, and then I can post another video and get 7,000 views. So it's like all of that just kind of layered in with like the brands, and then if you don't meet that view target, you know, they will either ask you to make another video or they won't pay you as much. And I'm just like, I need a break from this for a while. Will I go back to it? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've gotten several offers for sponsors for 2026. And right now I've only said yes to one, and it's a food product. So it's something that's like very easy to integrate into my content. So, but yeah, anyway, I guess welcome to my new YouTube era, my new old YouTube era. One more thing also is that I did decide to launch memberships here on YouTube. I was actually in a creator cohort hosted by YouTube. It was a membership boot camp. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not try it out? I have like toyed around with the thought of having a membership before, but then it's like, I don't know what it should be about or like where I should host it at. And so I'm like, here on YouTube is just as good of a place as any, right? So if you want to join, I'll put a link in the description box below. I think you can also just like go to my main channel and click join. There is like a short video explaining what you will get. I think the most exciting thing is that if you do join my membership, you will get some mail from me. There's a form in there that once you join, you can fill that out, put your address in, and I'm going to send you a goodie bag full of notepads and stickers and fun stuff. So I'm really looking forward to doing that and connecting with you all. And then I'm also going to have 2 members only videos per week. So one will just be like a regular vlog, like a day in the life vlog, behind the scenes vlog, whatever. And then one will be a cooking video. So one of the things also I think is really good about the membership is that I can put more like casual videos there that I think people will still enjoy, but they don't impact the performance of my channel. So one of the things that I have never really been able to do on YouTube, and some creators do this very successfully, but one of the things I've never been able to do is make like single recipe videos, right? So like if you notice, I hardly ever post a video that is like, oh, this is just like in-depth how you make this one meal. Like this is how I make my chicken and noodles, or this is how I make my chili, or whatever. It always flops on my main channel. And so I thought that would be a really good place to put those videos. And then if you guys have requests, obviously you can give those to me, and I'll make those videos for you. And also the vlogs, like the day in the life vlogs, those also don't perform well on my channel anymore either. They just don't. I don't know if, like, I mean, vlogging is kind of out of style, I guess now. I don't know. So that will be a good place to put those videos so that the people that are part of my membership that really want to watch that content and get that extra content can get those. You also get like loyalty badges next to your name, exclusive emojis. Yeah, exclusive emojis and things like that. So anyway, the one thing I do want to say is that, like, even though I am committing to posting two members videos per week, I do not expect that to impact the amount of content that will be here on my main channel. So no worries there. My goal still going forward is to do 2 to 3 videos per week here on my main channel. So yeah, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you also have been doing well. I guess chaos is subsiding just in time for the holiday chaos to start, right? So anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.